What is at work within our economy today? You hear a lot of talk about inflation, interest rates, and the like. And I wanted to help you understand something known in macroeconomics as the quantity theory of money. Now that sounds like a nerdy type of phrase, so I'm going to try to break it down at a level that all of us can understand and help you understand how you can navigate it. More than anything, I want you to understand how the world of finance is working around you. There are three primary inputs to the quantity theory of money. And those three inputs are interest rates, money supply, and inflation. When you think about interest rates, money supply, and inflation, well, two of those are inputs. One of those actually becomes an output of the other two, inflation. And so this is the quantity theory of money. But if you see interest rates going up, it will constrict or restrict the supply of money. Well, how does that work? Well, if interest rates are higher on mortgages, less people will be willing to borrow because they can't afford the payment on this price of house. The same thing happens with automobiles. When the rates are higher, less people will borrow. It constricts the supply and availability of money. And as a result, there is less demand. And if demand is lower than supply, well, inflation will go down. And then, in order to boost growth, the federal government, through the Federal Reserve, will adjust interest rates. There's also the International Monetary Fund. You have European financial markets. They will adjust the overnight rate. The London Interchange Banking overnight rate is adjusted. There are several major world banks that adjust this, and our Federal Reserve is the most powerful one in the world. And they will lower rates over time, trying to feather this thing of allowing the money supply to increase without having the resultant increase in inflation. And so what happens when interest rates go down? Well, more people want to borrow. That means the money supply will go up. And then, if you're not careful, inflation is bound to follow. More money means more demand. Less supply means inflation goes up. Make sense? And around the circle we go. To control inflation, they crank up interest rates, and then money supply goes down, interest rates go down because inflation gets under control. So where are we at right now in the cycle? Where is it? Well, you remember inflation went rampant? I remember it. I think the ultimate peak of inflation happened when a Big Mac meal somewhere in Connecticut at McDonald's, a Big Mac meal cost $18. I remember there used to be a $5 fill-up box at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I remember the first time I drove through and the $5 fill-up box cost me $9.40. It was inflation. And so the Federal Reserve said, we got to get control of inflation. Well, why did inflation go so out of control in the first place? Let's look at the chart. What is right before inflation going up? It's money supply going up. And what happened with money supply? When did it go up? Well, you may remember during COVID, there was about $14,400 given to every family of four. That was to be able to help people, right? Do you remember this? To help them survive and navigate through COVID. It was well-intentioned and it helped a lot of people, but we also ran out of inventory of TVs. Why? Because people all of a sudden had a bunch of money and they couldn't resist the temptation to go buy a TV. So demand went way up and inflation went way up because of it. America gave $3.2 trillion roughly of new money was pumped into the system. Money supply went way up. Well, anybody who understands the quantity theory of money knows that that is bound to cause inflation to blow up, explode. And that's exactly what happened. And of course, the Federal Reserve was asleep at the wheel. I think this is because they have too many lagging indicators of data. It's kind of like they're in a world of collecting stuff on paper when they forgot that digital world and solutions and apps exist. And so they're way behind the 8 ball, so to speak, on increasing rates. And they said things like, we believe inflation is transitory. That's a famous phrase said by Jay Powell. And finally, they had to crank rates. And when they did, they went all in. And what did they do? They crunched down on money supply, and that's gotten inflation back under control. So what's next? Well, interest rates will start to wane. That's the next step. That's where we're at in America. right now. So I wanted to share that with you because the quantity theory of money is at work all around you. You and I cannot individually control any of those three factors. We cannot control interest rates. We cannot control money supply in the global market, and we cannot control inflation. But what you and I can control is making sure that we keep a money supply of financial reserves, that we invest appropriately, that we keep our debt to very low or no levels so that interest rates do not negatively affect us. We can make sure our savings is being paid higher interest, and as a result, with a budget, we can navigate any type of inflation as it goes along. I encourage you, pay attention. And what do you need to do in a world when interest rates are dropping? Well, listen, if interest rates are going to be dropping, usually bodes well for the housing market, usually bodes well for the financial banks. It also bodes well for other aspects of the marketplace, such as utilities, which are usually high cost of replacement cost. And it will be very helpful for you to think about owning assets. See, if we end up lowering rates too fast, then the money supply will go up and inflation will start to follow it. And assets, stocks, real estate, precious metals, they typically keep pace with that. But if you just have dollars in a safe, they will devalue. So, what are your thoughts? Did you understand the quantity theory of money? Does this make sense? Do you have any other questions? Hey, my name is Joe Sengel, Fully Funded Life. I encourage you to check it out. We want to help you make sense of money so that you can live a fully funded life. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching this video. Hey, can I ask you to do a couple things for us? One, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe so you never miss out on content, and check out the next video. I think you'll find it helpful too.